did you know that geneticists have actually managed to create featherless chickens? Hey YouTube! How's it going out there in the world of Kony 20? I mean the internet. It's kind of been hard to differentiate the two lately. They've just been simultaneously one and the other. I was gonna take everybody outside today, but it's really gross out. It's actually really cloudy and really wet and really gross, so I'm sorry we have to stick with this room. I like this room, but it would have been nice to go somewhere else today. Of course, I could have never told you that and you never would have known, and I never would have even had to put that little clip into the video, so it's just, I like telling you things. Random Isaac Goalie face. Most of you watching won't understand where that face comes from, but there are some of you watching who will, so what? I'm all over the place today. So this week, I want to talk about Kony 2012. Not because it's trending, not because it's all over the place. I mean, yes, but not for the reasons that everyone else has been talking about it. The reasons everyone else has been talking about Kony 12 is because it's either been trending, or they've been criticizing it and being sort of wet towels about the whole situation. And now you're probably insulted because I've called all you critics wet towels, and you're saying there are valid reasons to criticize, but there are valid reasons to criticize everything. I've read all the criticisms, I've looked into all that stuff, and I found out that Invisible Children actually wrote a response to all those critiques, so there'll be a link in the bar, wherever it is beside me, below me, around me, or above me, and you can go check out what Invisible Children has to say to all the critics out there. I actually was kind of glad that there was critics, because as amazing as Kony 2012 is, and its purpose is, we should always remember to have a bit of a skepticism about everything, to question everything. Test everything. Because we kind of live in a generation where people tend to just jump into anything if it just looks a little bit exciting or good, or it's more like, there's a comedian named Louis C.K. and I don't know how many of you guys have heard of him, but he always jokes about this generation because he says they're the kind of people who say, I can do that, I'm gonna do it! They don't really question why, they don't really question anything, they just do it. So in a way, it's good that people criticized and questioned, but at the same time, it's kind of awful because they started to destroy the whole campaign. At its core, the campaign is still an extremely good cause, despite things that you can pick apart and rip apart. Anyway, that's actually not at all what I'm here to talk about today, so let's not get too caught up in all that critic stuff. I am not talking about Kony 2012 this week to criticize it, and I'm not talking about Kony 2012 this week to promote it. I'm sure that talking about it will promote it regardless of whether I want to or not. That is not my main purpose here today. I actually want to speak to the people who have chosen to like, favorite, share, whatever, spread the news about Kony 2012 over the entire internet. First of all, thank you to every single one of you for proving me wrong that North Americans do not care about things overseas. It's pretty obvious that there are a lot of North Americans out there that do care, which is very encouraging. Second of all, please remember that supporting something like this requires more than a like, a favorite, and a share. In some cases, it even requires more than donating $5. I don't know how many of you guys remember, but a couple weeks ago we talked about religion, and how my specific distaste for religion is what it does not do. How it sits and festers in a pool of nothing. So many people who have so much potential for good getting so caught up in themselves. It is meant to be for something incredible for the world, and yet it has turned into a self-serving, nobody's doing anything sort of thing. Do not let Kony 12 become just another religion for you. Do not get excited and say you're gonna commit and then don't do anything. Don't let it become the situation that only a couple hundred people go out on the night of April 20th and this whole thing turns into nothing. Supporting this cause requires action on your part. It requires you to buy the materials that are needed to spread the awareness on the night of April 20th, and it requires you to go out in your town, city, whatever, wherever, village, whatever you live in, and spread that stuff all over the place. Now, of course, there's arguments about how effective that'll be in the first place, but we're not supposed to worry about that right now. Right now, the issue is raising awareness. So, in order to raise awareness, follow through with the plan to raise awareness. I am imploring every single one of you, if you say you care about this, then live like you care about it. Do something to support the cause. Take action that requires more than the push of a button to your convenience. Because let's be honest, pushing a button? Super easy. Really, really easy. But Joseph Kony is a huge war criminal. Taking down someone like Joseph Kony is not easy. To do things that are good and just are not easy. It will not be easy to take down Joseph Kony, but it is a good thing and right thing to do. Doing the right thing is more often hard than anything else. It requires effort, it requires action, it requires skill sometimes, but it is so worth it. One other thing that I would like to say before we continue on to shout out and hero of the week and all that, what Joseph Kony has done is horrible. what every war criminal has ever done in other countries is horrible. But if you go to CNN's website and look up all the information that they have on human trafficking, within the United States alone, there are 750,000 women and children in sexual slavery. In your own country. All this suffering and hurting is going on in your own country. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to get excited about taking down Joseph Kony and ending all that suffering. But once that's over, turn your gaze inward. Look at the country you live in. Look at all the suffering and hurting that's going on around you. If you're this passionate to end this thing, then start with your home ground. Because all this slavery goes on here. It's just not as obvious and open. Random terribly hungry face. Anyway, as you guys know, this is an opinion show, so please leave your thoughts, comments, opinions down below in the comments, video responses, whatever you want to do. Let's talk! And hopefully derive some action out of that talking. And now it's time for everyone's favorite part of the show, Hero of the Week! Our Hero of the Week this week goes out to a YouTube user named Yuri Dice Project, which I'd like to hear about that project. It sounds very intriguing. Yuri Dice Project left a comment on my last video saying, "It is actually a duty in the Catholic Church to help out and employ anyone, even non-Catholics." He also said a whole bunch of other things in that comment and left a couple other comments across that video. Donated quite a bit to the discussion, but I really liked that he pointed this out. I'm assuming you're a he. I'm sorry, Yuri Dice Project is kind of generic. But regardless, I really like that you highlighted this for everyone. If you guys don't remember, last week we talked about the Catholic Church and Obama and the whole contraception controversy that's going on. And the issue that the Catholic Church seemed to be having was that Obama was sort of forcing them to provide contraception and abortion to everyone that worked under the Catholic Church. Now there were people who corrected that understanding and stuff, but that's the general understanding of the whole argument. But with that point in mind, it does make a little bit more sense that Obama is trying to pass this law within the Catholic Church as well as everywhere else. Makes him look a little bit less like someone who's trying to take away the freedom of religious organizations and such. So thank you, Yuri Dice Project. You are the Hero of the Week this week. And now for today's shout out. Today's shout out goes out to a YouTube user named Jesse Rose77. Jesse Rose77 was of course the 10th person to comment on my last video. Congratulations, Jesse Rose77. Shout out to you. Remember, if you would like a shout out on one of my videos, just be the 10th person to comment on this video and I'll be sure to give you a shout out in the next video. And if you'd really like to comment but don't have anything to say about anything else I've already talked about in this video, here is a weekly Would You Rather. Would you rather stay the same age for 10 years? Or age a year every day for 10 years? Which would make you extremely old. I don't know if you'd even make it that far. You'd be like 365 years old after 1 year. That actually might be pretty cool. Special thanks to Jesse Rose77 for suggesting that Would You Rather. And of course, if there's a random face that you'd like to see me do, just leave it in the comments and I'll be sure to check it out and hopefully do it in any upcoming videos. I usually only do about 2 per video, so if you're wondering why one of your random faces hasn't appeared in my video yet, it's because I'm working my way down the quickly building list. Anyway, that's pretty much everything I got to say for today and the rest this week. If you'd like to check out any of my other videos, there's a button up here that you can click on and scroll through them and pick a video that interests you. But for now, I'm Isaac Oli, and I'm thanking you for joining me once again on Rant. Peace in.
Comment and subscribe, comment and subscribe, comment and subscribe. And maybe favorite too.